Gotcha. You clicked the clickbait. You're probably like, who is this guy telling me that I should not be a woodworker businessman? I am a woodworker business person, and I have made tens of dollars. So just to give you a little background on who I am and what I do, I started a woodworking business back in 2020, and it has been very successful. Successful enough that I could have quit my job a few times and it would have supported me and my family. Without getting into too much detail of that, let's talk about why you should not start a woodworking business. Reason number one, and it's a big reason, if you enjoy woodworking as a hobby, you might want to reconsider going into woodworking as a business. Let me explain why. The woodworking will quickly become a job. If you start woodworking as a business, but right now it's your hobby, it's your escape, you're going to lose that hobby and that escape, because now you're going to get clients, you're going to have to do taxes, you're going to have to keep up with inventory, you're going to have to keep up with deadlines. It turns into a job very quickly. And I personally thought that I could keep it separated and still enjoy woodworking as a hobby, but still do it as a business. And I lost that battle very, very quickly into opening up as an actual business entity. I would work all day long, and then I still have this woodworking to do. Woodworking used to be my escape, my hobby, and it quickly turned into having another job. And I got to a point where I was just dreading even going into the shop because I was just tired of working all the time. So it's important, if you enjoy woodworking as a hobby, you should really consider whether or not you want to keep it as a hobby or go into business, because you really have to think about it as a business if you're going to start it as a business. You can't treat it as a hobby if you're going into business and you want to be successful. It has to transition from a hobby to, now I have to treat this as a business. I have to work on this. I have to meet deadlines, things like that. It really quickly goes from being a hobby to being a business, even being another job at times. There were times that I considered closing the doors on my business just because I wanted to get back to doing something I love. Now, that's a process you might have to go through, but just something to consider before you start woodworking as a business. That doesn't mean you can't sell things to random people. That doesn't mean you can't make things for family members, especially if you enjoy doing it. Just know that you will lose that escape if you turn it into an actual business venture. Clear as mud? Clear as mud. Reason number two why you should not open a woodworking business is if you have illusions that you're going to get rich quickly. Not in this arena, unless you're very lucky, very talented, or have a massive network, or I don't even know, because it hasn't happened to me. It doesn't happen to a lot of people. Now, I have been very successful in doing custom furniture. Successful in my definition of successful. Doing custom furniture, no cabinets, nothing like that. I've read a lot of articles where woodworkers will start a business doing custom furniture and they get into cabinets because they need to make money. I haven't had to do that. I've only done custom furniture, and I've made a very successful full-time income. But I went into it knowing that I'm not going to get rich off of this. This was a side hustle for me, but it can be a full-time income. Are you going to get insanely wealthy? Probably not. Not right off the bat. It might take time it's possible, but it would take time to get into that. So if you're going into this thinking that you're going to be able to make a ton of money, retire early, probably not going to happen. You're going to get very discouraged very quickly, and you might wind up having to shut the business down. So before you go into it, just know it's going to be work. It's going to be a struggle. You're not going to get rich. You're still going to make money, and you can still make really, really good money. But it's going to take time. It's going to be a process. So if you think you're going to get rich right off the bat, you maybe are in the wrong business here. Especially when you start pricing out tools. That's going to eat a lot of your profit. But I mean, maybe the buying of the tools can be the new hobby. I know buying tools is an escape for me. Might not be a healthy hobby, but it's a hobby nonetheless. Reason number three of why you should not start a woodworking business: competition is high. So if you're the type that's not competitive, or if you're the type that gets discouraged when you see somebody in the area that does the same thing you're wanting to do, probably shouldn't start it. The competition is high in this arena. Every Joe Blow has a table saw in their garage. There's going to be high competition. Should that put you off from starting a business? Maybe, if you're not up for the task. It's going to be a grind. It's going to be competitive. You're going to have to come up with stuff that nobody in your area is doing. You're going to have to be more talented, because anybody can go to their uncle or their dad and be like, hey, Dad, can you build this for me? You've got to be able to offer something better. And that's how you beat the competition in your area. So know that the competition is very high, especially in woodworking. And if you're the type that strays away from competition, this might not be the right business for you. Like we said in step 1, keep it as a hobby. There's nothing wrong with doing woodworking as a hobby. I'm not trying to discourage anybody. I'm just pointing out the things that I struggled with. Reason number 4, German 4, American 4. We're still at number 4. You're a beginner. You're not very skilled yet. Just because you built a couple of things, it still might not be the right time to start a business. If you still have squiggly marks when you sand on something, probably not the right time to start a business. There's nothing wrong with putting in the time, putting in the hours, learning the skill. And here's why. You can sell beginner type projects as a hobby. That's fine. That's acceptable. But when you go into business, you're expected to be a professional, and you're expected to offer expert level type advice. When a client calls you and they want a quote, they want a consultation, you better know your stuff, because they're looking at you as the expert. When they call you up, and I've had this call, I made a table with breadboard ends, and they noticed at where the long length of the table meets the breadboard, where it was flush, it kind of came in. They called me wanting to know why, what's up with their table, they want a refund. I had to be able to explain, I'm not an expert, but I can offer expert level explanations. I had to be able to explain, no, wood moves seasonally. That's just seasonal wood movement. Give it a couple months, it's going to move right back. It happened to me in the summer months. Or no. It was in the winter months that the bulk of the table contracted, and the breadboard, the breadboard. Here I am saying you got to offer expert level advice, and I can't even tell you what the parts of the table are. So in the winter months, the summer, let me try this again. In the winter months, the wood will contract because there's less humidity, it's colder temperature. So the wood contracted this way, the breadboard stayed the same. So there was a little bit of just the nth of a degree of stick out on each breadboard where the wood met. It's a little bit hard to explain, but if you've done woodworking for any amount of time, you could probably picture what I'm talking about. The breadboard was there to consider wood movement. It allowed the table to move without cracking. So I had to be able to explain that the breadboard's doing its job. It's not going to expand and contract the same way. It goes this way, not this way. Whereas the table's going this way and not this way. So the breadboard's doing its job because your table's not cracked. It's just seasonal wood movement. But you've got to be able to explain that confidently to a client. There's multiple things you've got to be able to explain. If you're still a beginner, man, take the time, put in the hours, learn the craft. There's nothing wrong with not starting now. It just might not be the right time to start. My story does not apply to everybody. I was a woodworker for 10 years before I finally started the business. That was more of my hesitation. I probably could have started a couple years after I actually started woodworking, because I made nice things from the start, or a couple of years after the start. But you get it. It's not that I'm telling you not to start a business. Just might not be the right time right now. Take your time. Live life. Learn. There's no rush to get into it. If you're a beginner, take your time and learn it. Get comfortable with it. Learn how to offer expert level advice, but take your time and learn the craft. Enjoy the process. Reason number 5 why you shouldn't start a woodworking business is if you see the high quality, high priced tools and you think in your mind that you will never have that. You're right. You never will, because you think that you won't. If you're going to go into a business thinking that you can't grow to a certain point, you probably shouldn't start the business, because the purpose of the business is to succeed and eventually expand. I used to be intimidated thinking about buying Festool products until I got into the business part of it, and I saw where a domino joiner would save me X amount of time, hours of my time. It would save me money and actually increase my profit margin. Now, Whenever I started watching woodworking videos and I saw the Festool and I got into looking at how much it costed, I never in a million years thought I would have a tool like that. I had to change my mindset making myself know that that is a point that I will reach. And sure enough, I reached it within 6 months of opening an actual business. I was able to start buying better, higher quality tools. But if you have in your head that you'll never reach that level, you will certainly never reach that level. So if you get intimidated or you think that you can't reach certain heights, you probably shouldn't start a business, because starting a business is a massive undertaking in itself. And if you can't grow, if you have no ambition to grow into getting higher quality things that will actually help you in the long run, probably shouldn't start a business. Like I said, nothing wrong with keeping it as a hobby. These are all things that I struggled with after starting my business. So I hope if you're thinking about going into the woodworking business side of it, these are just things to consider. If you're struggling with these things, either you shouldn't start a business, right now, or you should just enjoy the woodworking hobby. Nothing wrong with that. And so here's where I need some input. If you're a woodworking business owner, comment below the things that you struggled with that might help somebody else that's watching the video, and go into the comments. Let's give some professional help. If you have a woodworking business, what's some things that you think might put somebody off from starting a business in woodworking? And while you're scrolling down to the comments, scroll over to my spread shop, go pick you out a shirt. That's the one really good way to support the channel. Pick you out a shirt. I will get a little bit of a cut off of it. You will get a really cool shirt out of it. We both win. It's a win-win situation, and I would truly appreciate the support. And some of these steps really can apply to other types of businesses. Like, some of it kind of applied to my YouTube channel. I'm reaching a point now that I never thought I would reach. And I hope it's encouraging to some of you. I never thought I would reach the point that I'm at. I have higher goals, obviously. I never thought I would get to where I'm at. But these things apply to a multiplicity of areas. They can apply to different areas in your life, not just woodworking business in general, positions in your career in general. Think of how you can apply these tips, and maybe it'll help you steer one direction or the other. And I'm all about you starting a woodworking business. It's been very helpful for me. It's been a very nice side hustle for me and my family. It's paid for a lot of things. It can be fun, but it's also challenging. These are just some of the challenges. So I hope the video helps. As always, like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you think it's helpful, subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell icon so you should be notified when I post a new video. Some people are having issues with notifications. I don't really know how to fix it. That's on YouTube's side. They got to get their stuff together. It's getting ridiculous. In other news, did you see the Orator laser that I reviewed a couple weeks ago? I'm giving it away to a subscriber. Stay tuned for that. I'm going to tell you how to be notified when that time comes. That's going to be happening very soon. I couldn't do it during the video because I had to send them the video, and I didn't want to say, hey, I'm giving your tool away as soon as I put it together. But that new Orator laser engraver, I'm going to be giving it away to a subscriber. Also, we did a domino joiner giveaway. Jeffrey Bergestedt has been so gracious and patient with me. I kind of dropped the ball on that one, and I stopped doing the series because really the furniture took so long to sell. So I kind of botched that series, like I said in previous videos before. So we're going to redo it. Jeffrey Bergestedt has already bought a domino joiner. He emailed me and said, hey, I already have one. Feel free to give it to somebody else. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to figure out how we're going to do that, and I will keep you posted. So stay tuned, subscribe, and keep up with the channel because there's a lot happening. There's another big announcement that I can't tell you yet because I'm still structuring it how I'm going to do it, but there's a big series that I'm planning that's going to be awesome, and it's going to be very helpful for most of you that are subscribed to my channel. The other ones that are subscribed, you're just going to enjoy me looking like an idiot and bumbling like a fool. That's enough talking. Get back to your day. Go work in your shop. Go clean your shop. Go do something. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.